Hi everyone, I'm Norleen Hunter, greeting you from Colombo. It's good to be back with you once again on the Sri Lanka Morning Show. Today I bring you a special program which focuses particularly on Sri Lankan Western musicians and the very adverse effects they are experiencing due to the COVID-19 pandemic. With this in mind, the Western Musicians Association has come together to organize a virtual musical extravaganza in an effort to alleviate the hardship of these musicians. Today, I speak with certain members of the WMA to highlight the concert, the plight of the musicians, and to give you the good news that you can play a major role in assisting our musicians who brighten up your lives with their music. Let's first meet the current president of the WMA, Fabian Bonnie Paul. Bonnie, welcome to the program.
Good morning, Noeline, and thank you very much for having me on your show.
What was the reason for the WMA to organize a virtual concert of this nature?
So the reason behind this whole virtual concept is because the whole world is started hitting by this COVID pandemic. So it was the same for us, and our livelihood was disturbed. We lost work. We have no way moving forward now back. So therefore we thought the best way to reach our audience and also to keep ourselves positive is going virtual. So we decided to have a virtual concert to raise funds for the musician here in Sri Lanka.
How will the donations be utilized to benefit these needy musicians?
Good question, because we actually, as the Exco, have a mechanism because we are approaching sponsors to sponsor our cost and the show, and we are approaching donors who can give donations, like from associations. They can come a step forward and help us out. In the meantime, people who wish to contribute through our payment gateway. So how the mechanism works is like the sponsorship money will be utilized to cover the cost and pay all the musicians, artists. Plus, if we have excess money, so we will be utilizing that in our future events. But the money that will be contributed through our payment gateway, that is WMA payment gateway, so that money will be utilized to help the needy families who are affected by COVID. So we will be utilizing that money to support the families.
A good idea indeed to help these musicians. But how will you identify them as needy musicians?
WMA, we are a small community. We have about 350 plus members who are registered with us. So we have created a few threads. That is to communicate with all our registered members is one, and we have a band leaders thread separately where we discuss business and moving forward. That thread is there, and we have a general thread, that is we communicate with all the musicians, all the Western musicians, regardless whether they are members or non-members. So we communicate with them. So therefore, if a musician is in need, if somebody is infected, so if he's performing for a band, the band leader would know. So we will be sending a message through our general thread, and we will be sending a message through the band leaders thread. So we are musicians, we communicate. So therefore reaching out to them is pretty much easy for us. So we are all ready and geared up to help the industry to develop. So we seek your help, and we want you to watch this concert, and whatever that you could donate, maybe $1, maybe $2, so please do so, because in return we're going to put up an absolutely fabulous show for Australia. So looking forward in seeing you, and Noeline, thank you so much for having me in your show. So I want to thank you for all the help. So thank you very much, everyone. See you soon.
Thank you, Bonnie, for your input. And now let's watch Bonnie in action as he lends his gravelly voice to this hit from Journey, Don't Stop Believing.
Just a small town girl living in a lonely world. She took the midnight train going anywhere. Just a city boy, born and raised in San Francisco. He took the midnight train going anywhere.
Well, that was Bonnie giving us a taste of his super vocal skills together with his band Crossroads. And now we meet another singer with loads of appeal who's at the helm of Misty. Yes, Rajita Rupasinghe, who's a vice president of the WMA. Rajita, being a musician yourself, tell me how the pandemic, with the restrictions associated with it, have affected our Western musicians in Sri Lanka.
Hi Noeline, first and foremost, thank you Channel 31 Australia and to you Noeline for promoting this virtual event organized by the WMA, and it's happening on the 16th of May. We are kind of stranded at the moment. It's going to get worse, I believe, but so the musicians are absolutely, we are stranded. So, sad situation. Well, we don't... what we can only think of is, organizing an event like this and to contribute and generate some funds and give it to the needy ones.
Rajita, this virtual concert has been very appropriately, I think, titled That's What Friends Are For. And it has also been called Episode 1. Does this mean that you are organizing more concerts of this nature in the future?
So, why we say episode 1? Because as you may know that when this pandemic hit Sri Lanka, as musicians, as an association, what we did was, giving some dry rations along with Manusat Derana and our very own Chandani Hettiarachi came on board and initiated this to WMA. So thank you for that. And then thereafter, we managed to get a relief loan, to WMA with the help of the government and People's Bank. And then we didn't stop there. Then our third project was to, distribute some food vouchers from a leading supermarket. So we managed to do that as well. So that's why we say episode 1. So because this is, if this continues, this is definitely going to be another episode of in a form of a virtual concert, so that we can collect some more money and give it to the much needed to our fellow brothers and sisters.
Crackling rosy, get on board. You're gonna ride till there ain't no more to go. Take it slow. Lord, don't you know? Have me a time with the Cobran's lady, hitching on the twilight train. Ain't nothing there that I dare to take along. Maybe a song to sing what I want. No need to say please, but a man for a happy tone.
Rajita in his own inimitable style, Crackling Rosie. It's my pleasure now to bring on a legendary musician who has a heart for musicians and is always ready to lend a helping hand. Sunil Pereira, of course. And Sunil has very kindly added some comments about the WMA's efforts to our program today.
Forming the WMA, Western Musicians Association, was to look into the needs and the welfare of the Western musicians. In that sense, like at a time like this when the COVID situation hit the whole world, now is the time I think we should focus our attention towards the ones who are really in need. In that sense, WMA has come forward to identify the ones who are really in need, and they are doing a great job. Thank you very much, WMA.
Thank you, Sunil. And now here's Rukshan Pereira, who gives us a clear picture of the sad plight of our musicians who have been badly affected by this devastating pandemic. Over to you, Rukshan.
Musicians work very hard for a living. Their happiness is to see you happy, you entertained by their music, either listening to the music or dance to their music. Unlike in the corporate world, They do not get monthly salaries, no benefits, no allowances, no pensions, no EPFs, etc., etc. They only get paid when they perform. Unfortunately, after the Easter attacks in 2019, the music industry just came to a standstill. No weddings, no dancers, no concerts, no events, nothing, zero. And this lasted for a long, long time. But as they were recovering from that, came COVID. So for the last 2 years, musicians have been struggling in Sri Lanka. They also have families to look after, loans to pay, and I know some struggling musicians who have even sold their equipment just to survive. And now, here comes the COVID variants, hitting Sri Lanka as hard as it can be. It's really brutal, and we have no idea what the future holds for the musicians. This is why the WMA is organizing a concert in aid of the Sri Lankan musicians to raise funds for them. So please share this information with other Sri Lankan friends and perhaps other friends as well. Watch the concert on May 16th and please help them with whatever you can. Thank you.
Thank you, Rukshan, for taking the time to join us today. Well, Rukshan is a prolific songwriter whose creativity knows no bounds, as this song will prove to you. The much lauded song, The Nursery Rhapsody.
රන්වන් පාටින් සමනලයා රෝස මලේ පැණි බීලා ගියා ආයෙත් වෙනවද පොඩි සමනලයා මල්වල පැණි බොන්තා මල්වල පැණි බොන්තා.
Well, that's something for you to look forward to in the future. But you wouldn't want to miss the first of these virtual concerts organized by the WMA, which will be online today. The concert link is www.wmasrilanka.com. www.wmasrilanka.com. And of course, that link will not only give you access to a wonderful musical extravaganza, but it will also help you to lend a helping hand to our Western musicians with your donations.
Bye, 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 babo. Doya babo. Doi, doi, doi,
Before I leave you, a reminder that you could help to brighten up the lives of our musicians with your generosity. And you can access all the details as you watch our musical extravaganza online on this link, www.wmasrilanka.com. Yes, that link again, www.wmasrilanka.com. And so it's time for me to say goodbye again. Thank you for joining me on this show today. My thanks also to Nimal Alvis, our producer in Melbourne. Until we meet again, take care and stay safe. Bye for now.